Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 53rd episode of Slime Time, the official Dragon Quest Dragon's Den podcast. This is one of your hosts, Platty M3.
And this is Liamland. Hey, Platty, a long time no talk. How's it going? How's the wife?
It's not really going too well, to tell you the truth.
What? How so?
Well, I'm sure I've told you off air. It's kind of some stuff I've had to put up with her, over the years. Yeah, I thought having kids would change her, but it's not done enough to make it super comfortable.
Oh, I don't think you shared that before. You sure we should be talking about this on the record? I mean, we can just hit stop and record a new intro.
No. I mean, it's okay. Whatever. Let's air this out. I mean, it's probably best to just talk about it right here, right now.
I'm not exactly sure it is.
Well, what the hell? Like I said, I mean, so it started a while back with some verbal abuse. But, no, that really did taper off when the kids were born. She got better. But right now, she's like just this absentee mother.
Whoa, that's pretty tough. Where the heck is she all this time?
Fuck if I know. I mean, she's apparently just stoned with all her new friends all the time. I haven't seen her in ages.
Ages? Are you talking about your wife being a pothead?
Pothead? No, I mean, she had a pot lid at one point, but, I mean, never really put it on her head. No, I'm just, considering just going back and pulling up an old save and picking a different wife.
What? Wait, a different wife? What the hell are you talking about again? This doesn't sound like your wife and your story.
Well, it's definitely not your story. I mean, there's only one kid there.
Wait, don't you have two kids?
Yeah, a boy and a girl.
I thought Platty M4 and Platty M5 were both boys.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to pick. It just, and I didn't get to name them that either. The game just picked them for me.
Game?
Dragon Quest 5? I'm not talking about your story, the movie. I'm talking about the video game. Specifically the DS version, which I'm playing.
Oh, of course. Dragon Quest 5, the game. Okay. All right, this all makes a lot more sense now. I guess it's fitting that you're playing the game because we have a guest on tonight that's a longtime Dragon's Den member and wanted to talk about Dragon Quest V. So, without any further confusion or ado, here is from the Den. You might know him as Democrobot, but if you're into Twitch and YouTube streaming at all, then you know him as Pinkie.
Hello.
Woohoo! About time you're here. Welcome to the podcast, my friend. It's great to finally have you on.
Yeah, welcome. Before we get to know what you wanted to talk about tonight, let's get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who's been on the Den forever, or, in terms of the Den, you've been there more than half of its life, I believe. But we'll go back even farther than that. How did you actually originally get into the Dragon Quest series?
Well, the very first time I ever saw it, my older brother was playing Dragon Quest VIII on the PlayStation 2, and I thought it looked kind of interesting, You've got dual mages, he's going around killing people, you're chasing him, you meet cool characters, really cool monsters. But the first time I ever actually played a Dragon Quest game was Dragon Quest V, and I came across that when I was reading the article in an Nintendo Power magazine, if anyone out there even remembers Nintendo Power anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, of course, Nintendo Power. So what's your favorite mainline and spin-off game in the Dragon Quest series?
Well, my favorite mainline is, obviously, if anyone knows me, they'll know I'm going to say Dragon Quest V. But as for the spin-off game, that's honestly really tough because there's not really any bad ones. If I have
to pick,
here. I might lean towards maybe like Joker 2 or maybe Rocket Slime on the DS. But I also want to give honorable mentions to Heroes 1 and Heroes 2.
Cool.
Nice. So, what is it that draws you to the series? Like, why do you like Dragon Quest more than some other RPG series out there? And here we are. We're assuming that Dragon Quest is your number one up there, but well, even if it's not, what puts Dragon Quest over most others?
Well, I would say part of it is the art style. When I was really young, like we're talking maybe 4 and 5, I would sometimes stay up really late with my uncle, and we would watch Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. So I kind of grew accustomed to that style, and then as I grew up, I developed a sense of humor that I found matched the kind of stuff you would find in a Dragon Quest game. And then, you've got your funny accents, your innuendos, all that fun stuff.
Do you have any favorite monsters or characters from the series?
Favorite monsters? Well, pretty much anything that has to do with gold, like the Goodie Bag, the Gold Golem, your Mimics. I really like those, or any of the cat monsters, like the Great Saber Cub, Great Saber Cat, Jail Cat, Kaleida Cat. I like cats. And slides. Favorite characters? The series itself has a lot of really good notable ones, but if you ask me, I'm always going to say that my favorite is Deborah, hands down, and I will fight anyone over that.
All right, so monsters and characters, got that. What about mechanics, like across the series? What are like side entries, whatever? What are stuff that you just look forward to? Is it like monster collecting in this game, or in like Jokers? Is it job classes in the games that have it? Is it the casinos? What are some of the favorites that, like, when you pick up a Dragon Quest game, you're like, oh man, I can't wait to get to this kind of thing?
I would say it's how much variety you can have, whether it's through skill trees or through job classes. Whenever I go to replay a game, I always like to mix it up and try something new. So let's say, I play Dragon Quest VIII, and one time I'll use swords on the hero, and then next time I might use boomerangs, mix and match, see what I can do, and, just have a fun time challenging myself that way.
Nice.
Cool. So how did you originally find the Dragon's Den? Do you remember when you signed up for the forums?
Let's see. Well, when I first found it, I was actually playing through, I believe it was Joker 2. It was the Japanese version, because at the time they had not yet announced an English release, and I needed help figuring out how to synthesize certain monsters, and Wordus at the time had uploaded a bunch of synthesis trees that I'm pretty sure another member had submitted. So I would go there every few days, check and see, am I on the right track? But it wasn't until a while after that I decided, hey, I'm here often enough. Why not sign up?
Yeah. All right, so I think I've mentioned this on pretty much like half our podcast before or something like that. But I took a break from being on the Dragon's Den for almost 2 years, from like spring break 2009 to like September 2011. But before that, I mean, I'd been there for almost 8-9 years. And this was 2009. It was after the website Slime Nights had shut down. And one of my favorite things about Slime Nights is they had contests. And, everything from like, here's a coloring page, color it in and do whatever. That one's for you, Eel. And, but they had like dress up ones, and, just all the, some of them, like, you could write an essay about, why you like this or whatever. And they had all those contests, and you got points for entering them and whatever. And I was like, I want to bring that to the den. So I started that up, and gosh, I maybe did 10, 20 of them. And then I was gone in 2009. I just took a couple of years off of gaming, took a couple of years off the den. And I know then, like, King Zenith picked up the slack right away. They had a contest about what happened to Platty. I remember seeing that one, and I've read through that. Some of the guesses are hilarious. But when I came back, I think you were running them by the summer of 2011, weren't you?
Yeah, roughly around that time. Right, it might have been like very late spring, early summer.
So how did you end up with that mantle?
Well, I'm sure many people are familiar with who King Zenith is, and he just ended up getting very busy between, family and work, and he wanted someone who was active and would be able to run them, and at that time, I had a lot of free time. My schedule was fairly consistent. I had a lot of activity, so I was like, hey, if you're willing, I'll take up the mantle from you. I've been learning a lot about how you run things, what to do, and response was him saying, I hope that it would be you or someone just as active who would reach out to me. So yeah, that's how that kind of got going.
So, what are some of the memorable quests that you headed up through the years? Because I want to say maybe a couple of years later, you added me, and then you weren't as active anymore, and I took it back over. Maybe a couple of years later, I know I eased back into the den back in 2011, but you ran a bunch of them. Do you remember any of the ones that you headed up?
Well, I mean, there were a lot that I headed up, but I think out of all the ones that I was in charge of, I think the murder mystery one was quite possibly my favorite. And for those who don't know, there was a writer on the den who liked doing short stories, so I collaborated with them, and we came up with this little scenario that it would take place in the kingdom of Gotha or Jotha. I really don't know how to pronounce German, so I guarantee I probably butchered that. But the time frame was sometime before Pancras had left to go find his wife. They had discovered that one of the guards had their skull smashed right into bits. And being a good king, you can't just up and leave when there's distress right in your own kingdom. So we brought back some characters, like we had Lavia or Lavja, depending how you pronounce it. We had Carver, we had Maya. We just brought characters from a whole bunch of games and made this fun little scenario about who could it be and why did they do it. And I gotta say, we had a lot of people who loved reading through the story, and they were, putting out their guesses, talking with others, hey, what if, this is the reason. And everyone just had a blast with that.
You know what? I went back and I looked at a bunch of them, and I didn't see that. And I'm going to have to go look that back up.
Oh, yeah, that one is old, but if you can find it, oh man, I recommend looking at it. Because, I even had a few people private message me saying, I'm not going to enter who is the culprit. It was that popular. If anyone remembers the very old primetime soap opera Dallas, it's like Who Shot JR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting to do a Dragon Quest murder mystery with Clue style.
Yeah, that would definitely be fun. And I mean, maybe between Platty, Woonis, myself, and King Zenith, we can come up with some grand epic adventure.
I tell you what, I have toyed around for a couple of years. Every couple of months, I'm like, I should get on there and make a new quest, because now we call the contest quests. Went with the whole side quest theme. Since they're not, we number them and everything. Let's call it, and it's Dragon Quest. Let's do quest number 7 and quest number. Well, I think we're in the 80s or 90s or whatever now. Especially since we're in this huge dead area of Dragon Quest. I mean, unless you're a mobile gamer. Sorry. Don't want to bash any Attacked and Die fans out there. But, in terms of console gaming, it's been, we're going to go on 3 years since basically anything brand new. So, something just distracts me every time. I'm like, ooh, okay, I should do that this week. Just go in there, post, make a topic in the Discord, and pump it there too. And because we probably got 2 dozen really active. I know there's a couple hundred, but there's a couple dozen people that probably post at least once every other day in the Discord. So. Getting those people onto the den for a little something would just be good too. Yeah,
definitely. You could probably get the quests going again. We had some pretty memorable ones, like the any of the pumpkin quests. The was it we had a meme contest.
Oh yeah,
a bunch of Yo Mama Dragon Quest jokes.
Was it say it like you meme it or something? Or
yeah, something.
I started trying to make them all alliterative too. That's probably where I burned myself out. I'm like, okay,
it would be an actual side quest in a Dragon Quest game.
Yeah, exactly.
They have announced Dragon Quest 12. We could probably find a way to tie that in beforehand. Design a monster, design a new class. all kinds of things.
And yeah, I mean, I used to, gosh, I'm thinking back even to, I think it was right around when Dragon Quest XI came out, we kind of petered out with it. But I would always have, when a new game was announced, I'd have a prediction one. When do you think it's going to go? And that was easy. You just made a poll. And whenever it got announced, or whenever it came out, you just went back and looked at the poll and, oh, well, these people win. And then there was, gave a badge if you bought it and showed proof within like 30 days or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
We had the light speed ones where, if you were one of the first 10 people to roll credits on the game, you'd get the light speed badge. Again, going back to like the Dragon Quest IX ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah. Every game would get those three, and man, that got hectic when all the mobile games were coming out like every 2 months there for like a year and a half. It was like, oh my god, I got 3 games times 7 releases times,
And I would notoriously never get any of those light speed ones because I'm always kind of trying to do all the side quests and get every like little mini medal and like search and scour and talk to everyone. And I'm just taking. What was the Dragon Quest IX one for like taking your time to save the world? That's what I would get.
And like I remember the light
one
speed
where
ones.
Stella makes fun of you.
Oh yeah. If you can post in this topic in 5 years, proving you just beat the game, you will get this badge.
If you're currently on the forums and you post at all, then there you get a badge.
Oh man, with the Lightspeed ones, I remember for all those mobile ones, the only one I didn't get was Dragon Quest 1, and that pissed me off to no end because I remember like taking a day off from like putting an hour or so in, and I want to say it was like 8 hours after the last person posted, I rolled credits. I was like, no! Had I just played 2 nights ago, I would have been there today. And then there was the Dragon Quest 8 one, which I think me and King Zenith, because I think that was the first one that came out on mobile, right?
8, yeah, I think it might have been, yeah.
Yeah, and we that was, I think, the first one we might have even done a Lightspeed one on, and I said it as like, oh, the first 5 people to post that they finished will get it, and it was like one other person. And then me a month later, and then I think like King Zenith finished it like 8 months later, and that was it. Like 3 of us, 3 people ever claimed that one.
I'm looking at the ones that I have here.
It
looks like I got a lot of the iOS ones because the mobile
just
ones.
Buying
because,
them. Yeah.
All you have to do is like send a screenshot, so minimal effort.
Yes. Hey, we always got the most participant from most participation.
Oh yeah, we had a couple of pre-order ones too. Pre-order heroes and.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so that was another one too. Like pre-order it, then you got like it was like A and B. If you pre-ordered it, you got a badge. If you then showed you bought it, you got a badge. Rolling credits within like whatever amount of days, depending on the game, got you a badge.
Oh, this is a cool one. So there's a Dragon Quest Monster Super Light, and if you show proof that which monster rank
I remember
you get a custom badge for that monster. So I got like I think this is an Uber Killing Machine number 269 S rank.
You were there was a whole point system with that one, where it wasn't just like how high you got. It was like if you got to World 13-2, you got a couple points, and if you had an egg, you got a couple points, and if you did this, you got a couple points, and if you got like 10 points, you'd get the S rank badge and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh wow, I forgot about this one. So there's a Dragon Quest builders building a fan base all over the place. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I took a picture of a cube. I threw it into the lumber pile in Home Depot.
I would go into various video game stores and just leave. So there were these paper cubes that you fold up, and it's got like the Dragon's Den logo on it, and then on one side and Dragon Quest Builders on the other, and I would just leave them. Like I'd go to a GameStop, or I would go to like a Best Buy and just leave them in the video game display, like the store did it. Like it was, or like I think one of them was like a legitimate Minecraft display, and I just stuck the Dragon Quest Builders block in the Minecraft display so someone would find it like walking by. Those were fun. Yeah, that was back in the day when they were doing those like promotions and everything for like was it Menchie's? Oh yeah, the
Froyo place.
Yeah, the frozen yogurt. and the what is it, Langer's orange juice.
Oh yeah, never heard of that. I mean, I heard of the contest, but I think Woodus got one, didn't he? Like he wrote to them or something, or was that you that wrote to them and got one? But we
couldn't
never
find them at all. I
knew
wrote
where
to
the
them.
hell they sold them.
I tweeted them, but I couldn't find them anywhere. I feel like it was like maybe a Midwest type thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd never heard of them. And like oddly enough, Menchie's was like 5 minutes away from my house that had it. I was like, wow. Like I don't know if all the Menchie's did it or at least
Menchie's for me was like in a sketchy area of the South Bronx, and I had my dad drive me there. And when I was going to visit home or whatever, and he picked me up from Westchester, and he drove me to this shady area, and just for this frozen yogurt, and I got a bunch of cups and photos and stuff. So it was cool. I just like the fact that they did that, even if it was like
what a random ass thing to just pull.
Yeah,
out.
It was really random. Yeah, Final Fantasy gets like what's her face in Brave Exvius? What's her name?
I don't know.
She's like the pop star, and you get her as a playable character.
Oh, jeez.
You know what I'm talking about?
Is that Ariana Grande or?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
yeah. She's like officially in the Final Fantasy canon, and we get orange juice and froyo. So take that, Final Fantasy.
Hey, let me tell you, man. The other night I was at Sonic, and I got a orange Sonic. What is it? The Sonic Blast? It's not the Sonic Blast, but it's they put orange soda together with their frozen ice cream, and oh yeah, cream slush. That's it. I had the orange cream slush. So. orange juice and vanilla froyo. Basically, that's where it would go.
Sonic never did a like a promotion with Sonic the Hedgehog or anything like that, because that's
that would
pretty
be right
obvious
on the nose, but why not? So I was going to say one last thing, Pinkie. Do you have any other memorable times at the Den or quest related that you want to mention?
Well, I would like to mention the notable quotables, actually.
Oh yeah.
Everyone seems to really like those ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually they got put up so there'd be a daily quote. Mm-hmm. I don't believe we have that anymore after the forum had to undergo some changes, but there was like a whole selection of them, and they would cycle out each day, and oh man, seeing how some of them would pop up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were some really great puns in there. I think I submitted a couple from Dragon Quest IX.
And see, that was another one I'd run with every content. Another one I would start doing with everyone. It was like, yeah, you had the pre-order, I actually bought it, the notable quotable, the light speed. You know, every game release would like spawn 4 or 5 automatically for years.
Yeah, man, what happened to that? It was one of the forum upgrades. Like it didn't support it anymore. We have to ask Buddhist about that.
One of the Envision.
Yeah, because that was a really fun thing to have, like every time, and I just completely forgot that it's not there anymore. But like, you go to the forums, and every time you load up the forum, like at the very top, it was just like notable quotables and just a random Dragon Quest quote. It's fantastic. Yep. That's why people left the forums and started going to Discord.
I don't disagree. Just with how the forums kind of got shaped over the years and what could and couldn't be done, Discord just kind of started feeling easier to use.
Yeah, no, I get it. Well, like Discord, we talk actually quite a bit about this on Discord, but I mean it's instantaneous, so I get that kind of like in real time conversation, but I still like the concept of the forums for for historical purposes. Mm-hmm. It's easier to like look up things by subtopic than to search for specific search terms in like a massive Discord history. My
theory is it's all gone to mobile phones. You know, the fact that Discord's an app, you can just open an app and be right there anytime. I know I've been with Tapatalk app for almost 10 years now. But most people don't use an app to get on the Den. You know, more when people had to sit down and actually be on a computer on the internet and go there. I blame mobile game. I blame mobile phones.
I think we're just old. In my day, we used to go to the forums.
Yep, we would have to load up a browser. There was no button for a browser. You had to hit like 5 buttons. Double click.
I'll give you one better.
Coaxial cable to plug in our NES.
I had to use dial-up internet.
Oh, I was just about to say that. I was like, we had to have the dial-up, you know.
Yeah.
Funny thing is,
before internet.
That's not even a joke. When I joined the Den, I was using dial-up internet.
Yeah.
I believe I was. I can actually remember the room I was in at my ex-wife's apartment in St. Pete. That like she was doing medical rotations, so for like half of a year we couldn't even live together in the same town because she had to move city to city doing these medical rotations every month. And like I was visiting her one weekend, and I just finished up Dragon Quest VI, and I was like, man, like now what? What do I play now? And like I went on the den. I was like, okay, because I didn't hang out anywhere game related on the internet back then in like 2001, 2 or whatever. And
Oh man,
I
you
was
should
like,
come to the NX forums.
yeah, I didn't even know about those. So I was like, hey, just finish. And I've gone back in the den and I've tried to find this topic and I can't. But yeah, I made a topic and it was like, what should I play next? Like, what do you play after Dragon Quest VI? What other series, what other games will give me this feeling? Like at that time, all I'd played is Dragon Quest 1 through 6 and Final Fantasy 1 and 6, probably. Not even 4. So, but I remember that was my first post, and when I disappeared for 2 years, somewhere in there was a forum upgrade, and my account got deleted. So I remember when I came back, Woodus would message me a bunch, and he's like, listen, man, I can make you a new account, give you the name. He goes, I don't know how your old thing got deleted, but if you look, if you ever see old topics on the den, you'll see something like guest_Platty M3. That was my old account, but you can't like search any of those. It's like grayed out. All my responses are there, but
It's like when we were doing that trivia contest and Woodus got booted off and then became Woodus 2.
and I, you know what? Fair play. I had to go back and give him the points that he'd earned before. Like,
yeah, that was actually revenge booting.
Yeah, I remember somebody called me out on this too. Like when I came back to the den, like a few weeks into being there, someone's like, "Who's this Platty M3 and why does he have like 12,000 posts?" I don't remember ever seeing him here.
Oh, so he was able to give you your post count back?
He gave me my post count back. Yeah, he was able to put plus 11,000, and it was a roundabout number. And I think I was like, oh yeah, I think I'd made like a post like, hey, I'm over 10,000 at this point, and so he just like added that on to whatever I did.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like post count is like kind of a big deal with the forums. It's like how what's your history here in the den? How long have you been here? And you get like the ranking and everything. I'd be curious to see what post count would be like for something like Discord if that's a stat.
Brian can access that.
Oh, can he really?
Yes, he can. He mentioned that one time. We were in a chat and he's like, oh, I've seen you posted like 378 times just in the past month or something like that. So yeah, as admin, he's got access to that. No, I remember for years on the den, like, when am I going to pass Slime Master? When am I going to pass Slime Master? That was like my goal. I must have more posts than Slime Master.
I don't even know how many posts I have now, but yeah, it would be interesting to see. We could do like
a big day when I passed Woodus.
Did you really?
And see, I think his post count is like way inflated by like all the news that used to auto generate.
Oh, okay.
Because for a while he had like anything he posted on Twitter would automatically make a post on the den or something like that. Either that or he was way more active in the early days of the den because he'll post there every now and a while. But yeah, even for like the past 10 years, 15 years, he's not on there all the time. I know he reads it all, but
yeah, and
he's an older man than you and I. Shout out, Woodus! Yeah.
Yeah.
Old man.
You've got three times the amount of posts that I do. All right. So now you also do some streaming, right? Can you tell us what and where and when you stream?
Yeah, of course. So I stream on Twitch under Vtuber Pinkie. I'm currently streaming 5 days a week. I don't usually stream Sundays or Wednesdays. I like to break it up just so I don't get burnt out. And as for what I stream a variety of things, but the main one would be playing Mario, Shantae, Genshin Impact, Pokemon, Dragon Quest, and then every now and then I come across something that I think that looks interesting and fun. I'll throw that in, play it for a bit, see how I like it. If I don't like it, I stop playing. If I do like it, then you'll see me obsess over it for like a month, playing almost non-stop until I get 100%. And then you'll find me on the floor, like, writhing, all burnt out, like, need something else. More.
Like binging at the Chinese buffet and be like, no, man, no more wontons. No more wontons. Not eating a
But
freaking
maybe one more
wonton forever.
wonton.
Oh, you can never have enough wontons. All right, so let's
very true.
let's talk some Dragon Quest V.
Yeah.
So do you? I think you mentioned DS before, but do you have a favorite version of DQ5? Super Famicom, PS2, DS, mobile, VR at the mall?
Well, I mean, I really like the DS version for a few reasons. The two biggest reasons are that I can play it on the DS, which is more ergonomical for my hands than playing on a phone.
Mhm.
And then the other reason is, well, Deborah. But that can be no surprise to anyone at all.
Yeah.
I do want to say, though, that the PS2 version has really nice looking graphics.
Mm.
I wish that, like, we could have the PS2 version with all the DS, like, added stuff. That would be, like, such an amazing combination.
Yeah,
But
I'm
we
fairly
don't.
certain. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, like, sadly, that's not how it turned out.
Well, not yet, anyway. I mean, like look at how many times 3 has been released and re-released, and now the upcoming 2D HD remake. I'm pretty sure that at some point 5, which is such a massive fan favorite, is going to be remade with more modern graphics. Not necessarily 2D HD, but maybe, who knows, something closer to like a DQ11 or 12, you know. And at that point, I would say that they would probably add all of the bells and whistles that they had from a lot of the remakes, and probably even add some more stuff.
Well, I
Dragon
mean,
Quest V Definitive Edition.
Yep.
I mean, at this point, like, since they've added in Deborah, she's been thrown into a lot more of the content. So, since her initial appearance in the DS version, like, she appears in Dragon Quest IX, she was in Dragon Quest Stars, Dragon Quest Cat, Dragon Quest, one of the arcade games, like the ones with the cards.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the
Rivals.
monster,
No, not just Rivals, but
Battle
the
Road?
actual arcade
the
one.
battle scanner ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe I own her card.
Nice.
Cool.
You think they'll add another bride?
Yeah, maybe Mr. Bruscoletti, Senor Bruscoletti.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Is that
don't
what
need
you're
another
thinking?
bride. What we need is some gay marriage. Oh, yeah.
I think, yeah, that would be
Rodrigo.
interesting. But also, yeah, like if you wanted to marry Henry, I think it would be also interesting to play it from the perspective of Bianca, or you know, so although that would cut out a huge part of the game. In retrospect,
They could kind of make it work, similar to how in the definitive version of 11, and this will go into spoiler territory, so for those listening, if you don't want to hear about 11 spoilers, plug your ears and go play Hungry Hungry Hippos or something.
Well,
we got that for the kids this Christmas.
But yeah,
so cheap ass made now these days.
all right, I
after
haven't
like the
seen
world
that
tree
version yet.
falls, and you know everyone is scattered, how you get to play like those little sub stories. They could do something like that.
Yeah.
With 5, because
They would have to add content to replace the content that's lost when the bride is like a stone statue for friggin' ever. And then you get her back when you're
Stoned wife hanging out with some other new people.
Yeah, when your characters are all, and your monsters and your party is all jacked up and levels, and then you get the bride back and she's like, you know, level 15 or something like that. But yeah, you'd have to. There's a lot. I was gonna say, hey Platty, I haven't played that version yet, so no Hungry Hungry Hippo spoilers.
well, too late for that.
Yeah.
The pink hippo wins.
So you said you would consider Deborah then your favorite bride?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you like about Deborah?
Well, I mean, honestly, she has a nice appearance. I'm not going to deny that at all.
Go for the low-hanging fruit first. That's fine. It has to be said. Deborah's the hottest one.
I agree. But now to go a little less superficial, I find that she has the most development of all 3 brides. Not to say that the others have none, but with Bianca, they really play into the whole childhood friend trope, Remember that time we went ghost hunting?
It's like the only line I could probably like quote of the whole game.
And then like with Nara, you have the kind of the shy rich girl, and she slowly gets a little more assertive and comes out of her shell, which is nice. But with Deborah, she does not quite a 180, more like a 169.
Yeah, she'd be the 1 to 69. Whoa! Sorry.
What? That's why we have that explicit on every episode.
Yep.
In case those slip out.
But yeah, so she starts off
biting my tongue on that one too.
Slip out.
Slip out. Okay.
Right.
Also, with the whole development thing, she's the most developed. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Just mute now.
Just like as a little sample, we all know she starts off being really, harsh and treating you pretty poorly, but by the time you're getting to the final boss, she understands all the pain and suffering you've gone through. She turns into a loving mother who, while she is stern, she does it out of the love for her kids. She even says, she doesn't want them to grow up being spoiled the way she was, because she knows that negatively affected her. So she does her absolute best as a wife and as a mom to, do better than her parents and how she was raised.
Yeah, that's an interesting development. I hadn't really thought of that.
You have to really go in the party chat to actually catch it, but yeah, there is a lot of development there.
Yeah, and she starts off like super bossy, kind of like in your face, which kind of what turned me off from the character from the start.
Yeah.
She begins.
But yeah, that's interesting.
There is
she's like
her.
DQ5's Mary Bell. That's right. She's that.
One thing I do want to mention is when you pick the other two brides, like if you pick Bianca, you have your cute little wedding in the church. You pick Nara, you have it on the ship. And if you pick Deborah, it's similar to Nara's, except like there's all these big flashy fireworks, and there's a few other small things with her, like always making you sleep on the floor.
Yep.
And at the very end, like when you're back in the kingdom, you're having your little dance and all that. She's actually the one leading the dance, and she'll twirl the hero around instead of the hero twirling the bride around.
That's funny.
Yeah, just goes to show that she's the dominant one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing the Super Famicom version right now with my son, and there's a couple of things that I just forgotten. Because I let him pick the bride, and he picked Flora or Nira, and
Good pick.
And if you do that, like I think we were exploring one of the dungeons, and then a soldier just comes up to us and is like, "Hey, I got this for you," and he leaves you a chest, and it's like a gift from Senor Briscoletti or Mr. Ludman, as he's called in the Famicom version, and so he's giving you stuff that you normally, I don't think you would get that if you picked Bianca.
No, you don't. I played through all three brides, and if you pick one of the two sisters, then you get a few bonus things.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool that they differentiated like that. So, do you get anything different by picking Deborah?
No, you get all the same rewards, I believe.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That back off mute from biting my tongue or whatever. The first time I played through, I definitely went with the childhood friend Bianca. It was had to do that. There was too obvious in my face, and I went with that. But no, I think both on the DS and on the mobile version, which is basically just the DS version, I picked Deborah both times. It's worth it for the laughs. It's funny, and checking in with the party chat, I did notice what you talked about, Pinkie, that she mellows out. It's not all just degrading stuff, sleep on the floor the whole time. It definitely mellows out at some point, probably when you knock her up and climb over a mountain or two. Changes some things. And
right.
We talked about the den a bunch today, and earlier when we were talking about the den, and this is a perfect time that I don't even think I ever mentioned. I might have mentioned this one other time we talked Dragon Quest V, but this picking the bride mechanic was something that inspired me ages ago, probably late 20 something, like 2007, 8, 9, something like that. I used to have a dippy little website called the Dragon's Den Save State Shrine, and it all started with the save state that I made on the Super Nintendo version.
You called it
Super
Dragon's
Famicom.
Den?
No, it was like the Dragon Quest Save State Shrine.
Oh, okay.
And I would, I'd solicit people through the den, and we just had save states of, we had a lot of end game save states if someone just wanted to pick up Dragon Quest 6 and go beat the optional boss with everybody leveled 99 and whatever. If you'd been going through and you picked a bride, forgot to make a save point, hey, I had that for you. And gosh, I mean, it is like lost to history. I bet if I search the den, I might be able to find a link to it, but I'm pretty sure I did that years ago and whatever. But I had Dragon Quest Monster save states from the Game Boy Colors and everything. Pretty much any NES, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Color games that you could have save states from. We had all those hosted there. It was a tiny little site that I'd always mention on the den, but it's all because of the bride. That's what it was. So, brides aren't the only people you got to pick in this game, though. You also got to pick monsters as your recruitable party members, which I think, Liam, you've pointed out in the past that was an absolute shit show in the original version of the game, because you could only have 3 people in battle, and, what the F? You got a bride, then you get 2 kids, and, why would you have a monster hanging out in battle? So definitely the remakes made this more worthwhile. But what are everybody's some of the favorite monsters that you love to recruit in this game? Start with you, Pinkie.
Well, there's a few that I find they're staples to have because they're just that good. Like the Golem, the King Cure Slime, those two alone can basically duo the whole game because they're just that broken. But then there's a few favorites that I don't mind getting. Like I like the goodie bag because I just think it's kind of cool looking, or I'll use the King Slime because I enjoy slime. Then there's I believe it's called the Cross Eye. It's the fuzzy brown guy. I just like him because he's cute.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it right on the head when you started off saying the Golem and the King Cure Slime. Those are 2 that I always try to recruit by the end of the game. Anyway, I think some of them come up towards the end. One of the frustrating things that we kind of run into, I know, Patty, you said the fact that the original was limited to only 3 party members. But also, if you have your monster party going and then you go into any town, it throws only human characters back into your party and rearranges it, and then you have to kind of constantly, every time you leave a town, put your party back together. That's kind of annoying. I don't know. I don't remember if they fixed that in the remakes or anything, but I had my party member like the Golem, and I had Barongo or Percy, the Saber Cub, or the grown Saber Cub, the Saber Cat rather, and then whenever I go into any town, it just changes it to the 2 kids, and that's kind of a pain in the butt. But yeah, so in terms of the recruiting, I do like the Saber Cub story arc, where you can rescue him, and then you get separated when all of the drama happens in the beginning of the first act, and then you find him later, which is awesome. With the ribbon, you can recruit him again or kill him. I guess you have that option too. But
I don't think he's actually killable.
Oh, is that true?
Well,
I never.
When I was doing my very first play, so this is over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I needed to use the ribbon, so I just kept attacking over and over and over and over for probably a half hour, wondering why this darn thing would just not die. Then I gave up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna turn it off, not touch it for the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm. I must be misremembering it then. I thought you were able to kind of accidentally kill him without knowing it was him, and then he doesn't join. Huh. Okay.
I mean, if he is killable, they make him nearly impossible to kill.
Yeah. And then you can actually go back to that town. I think it's called Wheelbrook in the original, and find the two kids that were torturing the saber cub, but now they're adults. And one of them's a soldier in the town, and the other one's just like a random townsperson or something. And I think they're kind of super apologetic. So these guys grew up to be like guys who still remember torturing a small animal as a child, and now they're
Lovely.
somber about it as adults. Just waiting for
Wow.
someone to come up to them so that they can say, "I'm sorry, I tortured that small cub."
Better that than oh hey, there it is. Let's do this again.
Somehow, I don't think trying a second time would go quite so well.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bianca's like, "Go get him, Percy."
Just like in Heroes. Kill
Yeah,
them
that's
first.
that was. So, all right, so
Before we move on,
Platty.
I was going to say, Liam, do you want to talk about? Are there any other recruitable monsters you really enjoy?
Not that I can think of. Those are the ones that I mean. Early on, the Dragon Kid is pretty good, and I like the Hammerhood.
Mm-hmm.
But after a while, you do get some that just they maybe grow their experience points, their levels grow a little bit slower, but when they do, they kind of their attack and defense get much better.
Yeah,
Were
like
there some that were capped?
Yeah, some of them
I
cap
remember
at
that.
like level 20.
Okay, I do remember that correctly then.
Okay.
There's always, you didn't mention Slime Knight. Slime Knight's just like having another
Oh yeah.
human character in the party because it
Yeah,
can
yeah,
pretty much equip
It's
everything.
very balanced all around.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like a paladin because he gets heal spells, I believe, and not great at any one thing, but kind of like almost like a Dragon Quest hero. You got some heal spells, got some whatever. You may not have the strongest attack or the strongest magic, but that was good. One of my favorite ones is, and I'm going to put Dragon Quest Wiki hosted on dragonquest.fandom.com on blast for this, but the Rotten Apple.
I remember that.
Yeah, and that was, and they've got it listed on there as not in the Super Nintendo version. I'm like, no. I remember getting that guy. Yeah, it's like, and so going on the Dragon Quest Wiki hosted at dragonquest.org now, the Rotten Apple's there, and it even like their description on there is like, you can recruit Rotten Apple thanks to its stat growth. It's one of the most powerful monsters in the first half of the second generation. And I remember this too. It mentions it's also one of the few to learn sap because that's my jam against any sort of boss is sap and physical attacks.
Yeah. So I ate one of those at Luida's bar a couple of years ago. They actually have it, but it's an interesting way to make an apple as unhealthy as possible. So they took the apple's skin basically, and they cut an apple in half, and then they took all the apple out from the inside and replaced it with ice cream. And they put a little edible like eye and mouth on it.
Nice.
So it looks like legitimately like the monster itself, but it's just a really unhealthy way to eat an apple. That's also delicious.
Oh man, I remember giving those things a steel fangs and thinking like this is like the best thing for the monster to have, especially this one who's like nothing but fangs and a little bit of apple. So no, I remember that. And gosh, I don't think I recruited a golem until the mobile version came out, and somebody had mentioned it, and I'm like, really? Like I've played through this game like half a dozen times. Did it, and I remember back in the DS piracy days, like I got the ROM of the Japanese one and beat it in Japanese, and played it again, 8 months later when we got it. And like, man, I don't even think I ever came close to getting that one. But the as you mentioned, Pinky, the King Cure Slime, that was always. I don't think I've ever beaten this game without having a King Cure Slime. I would fight dozens of them just to get that, and that's not one of the easier ones to drop.
It learns Omni Heal like really early on in the levels, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and I mean heal us all. That's what I remember. Heal us all.
Yep. Sorry, I'm using the Dragon Quest IX version of the.
No, that's okay.
Spell name.
I'm using the Super Nintendo.
Even the NES, I think, right? Heal us.
Yeah, all. NES. Yep. We talked about on SideQuest, and it came up recently on the Discord too. The Nintendo 3DS, or maybe it was just DS Shop, the Denpa Men series. And have you ever heard of the Denpa Men series of games? They were just
Yeah.
eShop downloadable stuff. And what made them the memorable thing is you would recruit them. And this is the way they said it is the monsters that you recruited, the Denpa men, were recruited based on Wi-Fi signals. So you would go for a walk around the neighborhood and different Denpa men would pop up. Like you'd be passing somebody's house and ones would pop up.
It's like Dragon Quest Walk.
Yeah, 10 years earlier or 15 years earlier. But I remember I was living with my wife in a townhome community at the time. And it was great because, I mean, I would just go walk the dog for like 10 minutes and, you'd pass 100 townhomes. So Wi-Fi signals all over the place. But I remember kind of early on, and there was like some capture mechanic. Like you could see what it was and what spell the Denpa men would have. And I found one guy on like one corner one day, and like it showed the spell as heal us all. And I'm like, what? Heal us all? And I distinctly remember that and thinking, wow, this kind of seems a lot like Dragon Quest or whatever. And then I think one of the first side quests when we talked about monster collecting games, we had an episode called Not Pokemon. And I think it was Brurian that pointed it out that Denpa Men was made by a bunch of people that had worked on Dragon Quest games.
Oh, wow.
It had a lot of the same mechanics. So I was like, oh man, no wonder that seemed familiar. Because I swear that one guy had heal us all. And I couldn't catch him the first time, but I remember I'd always walk the dog the same way for like a week, just hoping he'd come back, and finally got him one time. And I was like, yes, I'm ready to beat this game now. Let's go. Nice. I got my pink pure slime of Denpa Men.
You're talking about recruiting monsters. This was actually one of the first games, not the first game, but one of the first RPGs where you could recruit monsters, and it predates Pokemon. A lot of people don't realize that because they look at, let's say, Dragon Quest Monsters, which came out after Pokemon, and they'd think it might look like a ripoff if they're not really fans of the DQ series. But in fact, Dragon Quest V predates Pokemon. I think was the Mega 10 series predates Dragon Quest in terms of monster collecting.
Because that goes back to, I think, the original NES, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I would say that Dragon Quest really helped popularize the monster tamer genre.
Yeah.
It existed before, but I think with how popular Dragon Quest is, especially in Japan, that just it burst open a whole bunch of new opportunities.
And I'm sure you've probably seen the articles like, Dragon Quest V inspired the people to make Pokemon, or I've seen that narrative out there, as well as the Japanese kind of bug collecting pastime, So and I've seen stuff.
Is that confirmed to be true, or is that?
It's one of those speculations. But somebody said it once or twice. It was in an interview, like, and so might have been part of it, but who knows? Like, there's not really a
surprise if it was true, and I also wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't get credit for it unless somebody, one of the creators of Pokemon, actually comes out and says that they were inspired by it.
Pinkie, you might know since you do a lot of Pokemon stuff. Is there one person? Is there a Yushi Horii of the Pokemon series? Yugi. It's getting late here.
There is. I have to check how to pronounce his name because being a Japanese name, I want to make sure I get it right. I guess it would be Junichi Masuda.
Okay.
Yeah, he was, I guess, the Yuji Horii of Pokemon.
It doesn't sound like a name that rings a bell, so, probably not out there as much as Horii is all the time.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll reach out to him and see if he wants to join us. That'll be the first question we ask him.
Maybe he'll join us in April.
Yeah, right. Perhaps around April 1st.
It's our big fan time to get.
I want to talk about some notable moments in the game. So, Pinkie, what notable moments do you remember in particular from the game?
Well, there's a lot, and again, this will be spoilers, but the game's been out for so long that
We spoiled the hell out of everything.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
everything's already spoiled. But
Yeah, if you haven't played it yet, pause the podcast, put
Yeah.
40 hours into it, and come back.
yeah, so probably the first really notable moment is at the very end of Act 1 when Pancras sacrifices himself.
Hmm.
During my first playthrough, like I was crying ugly tears. Like I had to leave the living room, hide in my bedroom, and cry in a pillow so my mom would not see me crying over a video game.
Yeah, my son took that one a little harshly. We had to actually put the game down for a while because he didn't. He was like, "Where's Papa's?" He's like, "Well, son,
Yeah,
there's
about
this thing
that.
called death. Some things you can't kazing from."
Yeah, so like on replays, it still hits me, but I'm not bawling my eyes out because I know it's coming. But
Yeah,
still,
I'm-
it was a very emotional time.
Uh-huh.
Seeing one of the few people in your life who was always there, and at the time he's the strongest man you've ever met, physically
yeah.
and mentally,
hmm
and he sacrifices his life just so you can move on and continue his journey.
And he's a beast. He takes a ton of damage before he
Yeah.
goes down.
Oh yeah, he takes out Sean and Swan like it was nothing.
Right, and then he's just like taking damage from them like left and right before Lodges steps in.
They're all laughing and doing the evil villain.
Right.
Yeah, that part always hits me hard. And like when you find your mom, and it's like finally after how many years? Probably 20 years? 25 years sound about right?
Mm.
Oh.
You finally find her.
Oh
and
yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
This is basically the first time you ever do meet her, because as a child, a baby, you wouldn't remember anything, and then next thing you know, you watch your own mom get murdered. So that always hits hard as well, because now you've seen both your parents get murdered, although I believe there is one little difference between the original and the remake for that scene is that in Talon Tower, you actually kill Lania, but in the remake, Lania goes back to Nardaria, or I don't even know if I'm saying that right at this point, but everyone knows what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nadiria?
Yeah, Nigeria. Close enough. It's basically the equivalent of hell.
Yeah.
Let's be real. So yeah, like Lania's there and basically kills your mom, and then I'm pretty sure Nimzo is the one that does the finishing blow from whatever weird realm thing he's sitting in the middle of hell.
Or worse than hell, and it's a virus. Platty, do you have any memorable moments from the game?
Oh yeah, I was talking about this off air earlier. Like, what the fuck, Henry? Like a nun? Like seriously? All the girls in the world, and
They say
a nun.
the innocent ones are the most degenerate. So maybe he knew exactly what he was doing.
He was a bad boy that turned good, and then he turned like a really good girl. Bad, yeah. They met somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, but that would be another interesting kind of play in this game. Just like start the game as Henry and play through that. If you could do like a Trials of Mana style game where you get or like more modern, I guess, like a what's the game? Octopath Traveler.
Octopath Traveler.
Where you pick a character and you start out in their section of the world or whatever. And if they could do that with Dragon Quest V, like that would be incredible.
That would be great. It might be a little hard to pull off, just because when you meet certain characters, like when you do meet Henry or Harry, depending on like which version you're playing.
Yeah.
Like if you kind of have to pick up sometime after like Henry, Harry, and the hero split up. That's kind of when you would have to do his story. But then for someone else, like with Nara, you would probably play as her when she was at the Abbey, and maybe even a bit before that. So the timing would be kind of all over the place. But there is definitely story material there. It's a matter of can they approach it in a way that feels fluent and still, staying true to the story.
Yeah, right. So I had a couple of memorable moments because I've been playing it recently with my son. I think the first is the Bjorn the Behemoth fight, because Signor Briscoletti basically just leads you to your death. And
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah, he's like, "Hey, come up to this. Oh, the pot was red. Okay, come up to this tower. And okay, there's going to be this giant behemoth is going to come up. So good luck. I'm going back to my place." And he just leaves.
Yeah, he's
And,
like,
and
I'm going to make preparations. Just stay right there. Keep him busy.
Yeah.
I'll be back in like a half hour. I have to go get some milk.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
And then he never came
and then he
back
just
home.
leaves me with my 2 8-year-old twins to fight this giant beast. The other thing was the Immaculate Conception here we got going. So, I mean, my first couple of playthroughs of this game ever, I picked Bianca, and I usually don't stay in an inn if I can find a place to heal for free. So I just remember getting the bride and then not staying in an inn at all and just kind of traveling around. And then all of a sudden the kids were born. And I kept thinking, man, they must be doing it in that wagon with the monsters.
Well,
Watching the monsters are in the wagon, just kind of staring at them.
I mean,
and then all of a sudden they're pregnant.
I always assume that it was like a one-time thing right after the wedding, shagging bag, pack up the
That's
bag.
true. Yeah, it could have been a celebration of the marriage bed. Yeah, that's true.
Like, that's the only time I ever see it happening, because then after that, you can make it all the way through the mountains to when you find out she's pregnant without having to actually stop or heal anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not on the wedding night, then they're getting funky in the wagon, and the Great Saber Cat's just looking at them like,
yes,
your tail's on backwards, human.
It's not that big of a wagon. You gotta fit like 7 or 8 characters in there.
I mean, you can fit a Gigantus, a Great Dragon, a King Slime, and King Slime all in one.
The Gigantes is no way in the wagon if we're talking scale here. But,
yeah.
I mean, maybe it's a magic wagon.
Yeah.
Like your bag. There's always room in the bag.
Yeah, there's always room in the wagon. And then the other thing that I was thinking of recently is like, all right, so I don't remember if it's like this in the DS and mobile remake, but all right, you find out you're the king of Gotha, and I can't go sleep in my bed. I can't go upstairs and select the bed or walk up next to it and hit the search functionality and have him like, all right, I'm going to sleep now for free. So I have to go downstairs to the inn, and this woman running the inn does not recognize me as the king and won't let me sleep there for free. So now I'm the king of this castle, paying full price. It's like 40 gold or something, like, to sleep in my own castle. Damn it, I'm the king. Let me sleep for free.
Yeah, I think there's some party chat or something where they say, like, something along the lines of, I know you're the king and all, but I still have to, make money somehow, so I still have to charge you, or something like that.
Yeah, but she doesn't.
And then they're like,
your own bed.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, I'm so humble. You decided to sleep at my inn.
Yeah. What a benevolent king.
I didn't decide to sleep here. The game won't let me sleep in my own bed.
Right. He decides to slum it up with the local tourists.
I mean,
so any other memorable moments from the game?
There is one other thing I'd like to mention that I don't think many people notice, because it requires you to have tuppence in your party, and let's be real, no one ever uses him.
I actually used him this time because I never did, and I wanted to do something different. Yeah, he's Pippin in the original, and tuppence in
Tuppence. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
2 pence.
I believe this is specifically to tuppence and not Pippin. But if you have tuppence with you and your bride is Deborah, he will talk about wishing that you had stayed away or, stayed to stone, because he wants to steal your wife.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, like it's a very small interaction. Like it requires you to marry Deborah, have him in your party, and it's only in one or two places where he'll even say it, and even then, circle through all his dialogue, hoping he'll say it.
That's funny. Well, I don't have party chat in the Super Famicom version, so I think my wife's safe.
Well, to be fair, you also don't have Deborah in your version, so who's the real winner here?
Well, it depends if you want that Sundari experience or not.
I mean, you only live once. Might as well live it to the fullest.
Unless you're James Bond, then you live twice, or 5 or 6 times. Platty, we were saying tuppence because that's the British pronunciation, I guess, from what I remember, popularized by Mary Poppins.
All right, I was gonna come up with some British term to say there, but yeah, I got nothing. I'm speechless on that.
All I've got is corn blimey.
So what was your take on the Your Story ending? Did you love it? Did you hate it? And you're just meh?
I mean, I agree with a lot of the fans how it seemed out of place, considering how relatively accurate they stayed to the story up until then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some changes obviously to make it a little more, pizzazz and flashy, more interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but more palatable.
For what they were going for with the underlying message, I think they nailed what they were going for.
Mm-hmm. And
honestly, anyone who says otherwise, I think they're objectively wrong. You cannot like it. That's fine, but they did what they were trying to do, and they did that well. So it's not a matter of, they didn't convey the message well, because they did. It's just a matter of whether or not
you like that message.
Yeah.
I mean, I think because a lot of us went into it thinking we were going to see that Dragon Quest V plot play out in full, and so it was a bit of a shock.
I still wish I would have done it, closer instead of having that ending.
Well,
I think the epic battle, between Madison and Nimza would have been really stunning to watch, but for what we got and what they were aiming for, I think they still did a good job. And I've watched the movie more than once.
Yeah, maybe we can do a re-editing of the movie where all of a sudden when they're like, it's Nimzo, and then you just cut to the PS5 footage of the Nimzo fight.
I mean,
and then it just cuts back to the movie.
I mean, I do own the PS2 version, which has graphics a little closer to the movie, so I can record that and and be like, here's the real ending.
Yeah, I talked about doing a re-edit. That was my first thought immediately after seeing it. It was I'm gonna re-edit this so it's just the Dragon Quest V story. But then I thought oh man, I gotta re-edit all that music in there, and that's kind of you'd have to kind of splice out I don't even know how to splice out the voices from the music. Then it would be just kind of, I don't know. I just fancied myself a Topher Grace in that moment. Where did he re-edit? Either Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit movies, I think. He did a Topher Grace edit of all 3 Hobbit movies into one, where you just cut out all the bullshit. It was one of those kind of moments where it's I think this would be really cool to do. But I would probably be a perfectionist about it, and there's things I'd want to do that I just don't have the skill to do. But if I did, in theory, do something like this, I would honor Yangus's wishes, and I would dub in the credits. I would dub the bridal waltz. That was his take on it. He was like, "Why was the bridal waltz not in the closing credits?" But all right, do you have Platty, anything else you want to say on that?
In terms of, I think we're ready to move on to a thing we've not done in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's we stopped killing Kenny, so we've got a little game we like to call Marry Thwack Puff Puff. For those who are not familiar with this game, it's basically, what was it? Wed, bed, behead. That's
pretty much. But
that's the safe way to say it.
I believe there was a thread somewhere on the den dedicated to this. I don't know if it's still around.
Oh, really? It predates the podcast? I didn't know that. Marry Thwack Puff Puff like that, or
just me posting the I used to post the pictures there, but I don't know.
I don't know. I thought it was Howard Stern, but probably predates
God,
him too. I'm sure.
I was gonna say, yeah, we played that in like middle school. Mary Thwack, or what is that?
Oh, okay.
Mary Fuck Kill.
Mary Thwack Puff Puff in middle school. I don't even think I knew what a Puff Puff was at that point. I'd just seen it and then glanced over it in a
Yeah, I
Dragon
didn't really know what it was, but small tangent, I did end up getting one from someone in junior high. I don't think it was intentional on her part, that's what she was doing, and at that time, I wasn't really sure what Puff Puff was supposed to be, but I mean, once I figured it out, a few years later, when they made it a little more obvious in the game, then I had matured. Back is like, hey, that's what happened to me. Oh wait.
You bungee jumped into some clouds?
No, I went upstairs with some girl, and then her big buff man came out. Of course.
That was the first time I saw it in Dragon Warrior 3. It was in the previous games, but only I think in the Japanese version, or but they left it in the Puff Puff, and I didn't, I just glossed over it. I didn't know what it meant. Puff Puff sounds like they're putting makeup on you or something, like Powder Puff or something. I don't know. And
or I mean, maybe they're doing some Magic Dragon, if you know what I mean.
I think it wasn't until like 2000 or 2001 that I just saw people talking about it on the NX forums, and I actually got what it was at that point. And I guess if you read some of Toriyama's earlier manga, you probably knew at that point, beforehand, or if you played the original games in Japanese, if you definitely knew what it was. So, but yeah, that's an interesting. But anyway, so long to make a short story long, we have this game called Mary Thwack Puff Puff. As we go through the history on it, we're going to give you 3 choices and tell us which one you want to marry, which one you want to thwack, and which one you want to puff puff. So we're going to start out. This is either going to be easy or hard for you. We're going to start out with the 3 brides. So Bianca, Nira, and Deborah. Marry, thwack, puff, puff.
All right, I'm going to marry Deborah. I know, shocker.
I thought so.
Let's see. Honestly, the other 2 brides are almost equal for me, so this is going to be really hard. In fact, I'm just going to flip a coin right now. Alright, so let's see. If it's heads, I will thwack Bianca. If it's tails, I'll thwack Nara. And the coin flip is tails. So, sorry, Nara, you're dead. I don't make the rules.
Coin does. Platty, what's your take? You may have answered this like a while back in another podcast, but if your thoughts have changed.
I would go the exact same way that Pinkie just said. Marry Deborah, what's the How I Met Your Mother crazy hot scale? She's crazy, but she's hot. I've dealt with crazy before. It's fine. Puff Puff Bianca because mainly, ghost stories, and thwack Nara.
Yeah. I would have to go. I think that I would marry Nira. I would probably puff puff Bianca and thwack Deborah, just because I'm not really a fan of that kind of tsundere. I think my favorite kind of version of that style of character was Veronica and her story arc. But yeah, in terms of like marriage material, I wouldn't go with the tsundere character. It's just not my type of thing.
All right. Now wait a minute. We don't have one. We've got 2 sets of
This
Mary
is right.
Puff Puff.
Yes. We had a little bit of a side conversation going on, Pinkie, about this. Hope you don't mind. We've got a second round for you for Mary Thwack Puff Puff.
All right, bring it on.
Okay, let's see. What was that again? All right. So based on what you had said earlier, we've got the goodie bag, the gold golem, and the mimic.
Goodie bag, gold golem, and mimic.
Yeah.
Well, I have to thwack the mimic. Elder principle, mind you. Too many times has that thing thwacked me, so it's time for a little thwack in the back. And then I'd probably get the poof from the goodie bag, because I feel like the gold golem is going to be too hard.
Yeah, that would be a rough one.
So I'll marry the gold golem. I mean, I'll always have a good supply of money on hand, and it would protect me with its life.
Yeah, I think I would probably marry the mimic because I could keep stuff in its mouth, like
like what? Like what, Liam?
Well,
what are you gonna keep in its mouth?
Tell the class, Liam.
My Dragon Quest merchandise,
Oh,
for one.
So that's what we call it these days?
You just keep your merchandise in there, huh?
Yeah, I could lock it.
You're gonna keep
I could
your
lock
stuff.
it and my mini medals as well.
Okay.
I would probably, for the same reason Pinky said, I would probably have to puff the goodie bag because it would be softer than the gold golem, and then by default the gold golem gets thwacked.
Yeah, we're all going to pick something different here. It's funny, in our side conversation, I definitely mentioned thwacking the mimic because, that seems fair play. It's what Pinky said there, too. But I actually went away from that. I'm going to say marry the goodie bag, for all the goods. Someone with all the goods all the time. Thwack the gold golem. It just reminds me of like Maribel, just too hard-headed. Can't change that one. And Puff the mimic, because I hear mimics give a killer one.
You could still put stuff in the goodie bag, but I feel like the goodie bag would steal it from you, whereas the mimic would be a little bit safer.
So if I try to, I was going to say, so hey, Pinky and I had the same thought. If I try to keep my family jewels in the goodie bag, I might lose them.
That's why you got to marry the mimic for its chest.
Oh, damn it! That's a better pun. That's a better pun. Lost the pun game on that one.
On that note. So before we go, where can we find you on social media and streaming, Pinky?
Well, basically everything is just under Vtuber Pinkie, so that'll be on Twitch, on Twitter, YouTube, and then, if you go to any one of those, you should be able to find links to my Discord as well, where I'm also Vtuber Pinkie, so I'm pretty easy to find.
Cool. And what are you playing right now that people can tune in on stream?
Well, today I did Genshin Impact, but on Thursday is going to be Throwback Thursday, and I think I'm planning on doing some Banjo-Kazooie, since they just put that onto the Nintendo Switch. And as a child, I never did finish it. The only level I ever did complete was Rusty Bucket Bay.
Cool. Awesome. So we also we do want to give a couple of shout outs to some Dragon Quest fans out there. Do you have any fellow Dragon Quest fans that you'd like to make some shout outs to?
Well, first, I would like to shout out Nietzsche, known as Samantha or Coffee Can. She works for Square Enix, and I'm sure most of us know who she is. She's just done so much for the community, so, lots of respect to her, of course.
Former guest.
Yeah,
we've had her. She's on the podcast.
Yeah, I'd like to shout out my friend Dion. He's always been there when I've wanted to discuss any kind of Dragon Quest idea, challenge run, conspiracy theories, you name it. We've talked about it. It's just nice to have that close friend who also shares that really deep interest, which is actually how we originally met, and to this day we're still friends. So Dion, whenever you hear this, big shout out to you, my friend.
Awesome. A couple of shout outs we wanted to make from the Dragon's Den Discord, Regim Overdrive and Ascended Slimeland or Lendar. Thanks guys for chiming in on the Slime Time thread as often as you do. It's great to get discussions going and talk about upcoming ideas and everything. We also want to reach out to Mrs. Woodis as well for her tireless support for the West of the Dragon Quest Slime account. Appreciate all of your love and support for that character, and keep up the good work.
She's behind that 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode of Slime Time. Thank you, Pinky / Democrobot, for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here. So we don't use. Sorry. So we don't use Patreon, but we don't believe in taking money from fans, other Dragon Quest fans, and we can offer you quality content about the game series we know and love for free. If you do have money that is just completely burning a hole in your wallet and you would like to donate anything to the website that's been supporting Dragon Quest fans for 20 years, stop by the Dragon's Den at www.woodus.com/den. Click on support this site. Woodus has owned and maintained the Dragon's Den DQ fan site for decades, and he personally edits every YouTube version of our podcast and fully appreciates any donations to help keep the servers running.
Hey, speaking of which, thank you to Kevin B for the donation over there. Just saw that in the past week on the Den. Kevin B, if you are a listener, thank you so much.
Awesome.
If you're not a listener,
Kevin.
well, maybe someone will remind you or tell you about it.
Well, if he's not a listener, then he just missed out on the thank you.
Yeah, I know. You should
Hopefully
listen, Kevin. I was going to say, with the amount of people that actually post on the Den, probably he didn't come across that randomly. But hopefully either you follow Woodus on Twitter or you've heard our podcast. Thanks a lot, though. Also, if you don't want to just donate money straight up like Kevin did, the Dragon's Den website also features an Amazon affiliate link. So you just click that link at the top, make a purchase on Amazon, buy something to give yourself a puff, buy yourself
Can you get puff-puffs on Amazon?
You gotta go in the side area. I don't know if the background changes colors or not, or it's the side that you need to clear your browser history off of after.
You get that smile.amazon. There's a slime.amazon. And
yeah. But a few pennies will go Woodus's way, and probably make Mrs. Woodus's day, and just make her love Westy even more.
Yes, and it doesn't cost you anything. You can just click the affiliate link on the Den forum at the very top. You just have to kind of remember to do that before you make your purchase. So to advertise with us, reach out to us at slimetimepodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions or comments for the Dragon Quest Slime Time podcast, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at DQ Slime Time.
You should consider joining in tons of DQ discussions at the Dragon's Den forums, one of the few remaining forums still around. You can find it on the Dragon's Den main page, or just go straight there at www.woodus.com/forums. You can also find me and Liam and other rabid DQ fans. Pinkie's there too. On the Dragon... Oh, actually, you are in the Dragon Questers Facebook group, aren't you, Pinkie?
Yeah, I'm in many places. Just, you don't always see me. I'm like a metal slime.
You're all over, but, moving quickly.
You can also come and hang out with us and tons of other hardcore Dragon Quest fans on the officially unofficial Dragon's Den Discord server.
Yeah. We'd like to, as always, thank everyone that made this possible, like Woodus for his support of the series and this podcast and doing our YouTube videos and keeping the Dragon's Den lights on for decades now.
Thanks to Liamland Platty and the Descendants of Verdrick for allowing us to use their music for our podcast. Descendants of Verdrick is a video game tribute band from Austin, Texas. Check them out and their album Advent at www.descendantsofverdrick.com or on Twitter at @Verdrick, and check out Amanda Lepre streaming on Twitch.
Our thanks, as always, to Dwayne Bullock, our wonderful graphic artist, DQ fan, and Pokemon Go aficionado, I guess, for making this awesome artwork cover for our podcast. Dwayne was on the original iteration of Slime Time Podcast about a decade ago, and he's been on many of our episodes. You can check out more of his work at Dwayne Art on Instagram or straight through his website at dwaynebullocart.bigcartel.com.
If you're looking for more Dragon Quest Slime Time, check out our earlier episodes on Dragon's Den, Anchor FM, iTunes, Spotify, Audible, YouTube, and more. And check out our brothers and sisters in arms over at the Slime Time Side Quest podcast. Their latest episodes are available now.
Bye, everyone.
Dragon Quest Slime Time, sliming off.
Smart.